Oh, jeez. God. The OnePlus X. It's a really cool device. It's the first one from OnePlus since the kind of ho-hum OnePlus 2. So I was pretty stoked to see if this was going to be something I was going to be excited to have in my pocket. And yes, we are definitely going to talk about that $250 price tag because it comes with a lot of compromises. But that's what I love about the OnePlus X. It's not all just the compromises. Well, there are some compromises, of course. No NFC means no Android Pay, and no USB-C means just no USB-C. It's really not that big of a deal. They just couldn't fit the module into this small of a form factor. Plus, there's no fingerprint scanner on the back or on the front, but most importantly, there's no Band 12 or Band 17 support. And if you're a customer on T-Mobile or AT&T respectively, that's gonna really matter for future-proofing this device for you, because if you're already in a bad coverage area, not having access to those new chunks of spectrum that's gonna improve your coverage is probably gonna be a deal breaker. It's not all compromises with the OnePlus X though. Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff here to love. First and foremost, that ridiculous AMOLED display. When was the last time you saw an AMOLED display on a $250 device? That should say enough for you right there. Everything on this thing screams premium. Everything from the curved edges of the glass to the microcuts on all the pieces of metal that you see. Everything down to that very, very OnePlus slider for your profiles. Plus, it even supports microSD. That's in the same slot as the dual SIM tray, which is a really, really clever way to implement it. While it does make compromises, it doesn't skimp on the stuff that's really, really important, and that's what makes me love this thing. So the performance of the OnePlus X was unbelievably normal. It was pretty good. Underneath the hood is a Snapdragon 801, and that was basically the flagship for last year, and it's also what is under the hood of the original OnePlus One. And you know what? Totally holds up, especially considering that there's extra RAM in here. So with 3 gigs of RAM from day to day, I hardly noticed any stutters at all. Had a bit of a hard time with, bigger stuff, games, things of that nature, but that's not really what this thing is for, is it? It's for your day-to-day life. And for that, it gets an A+. The camera on the OnePlus X is also pretty serviceable. At least for a $250 camera, you really can't ask for a whole lot more. In fact, I'll even tell you this much. In the 8 days that I used the OnePlus X for my review, I was also using the 6P. And the 6P has a much harder time opening from a quick sleep into the camera. I missed far fewer shots on the OnePlus X than I did on the 6P, despite the fact that at the end of the day, the results looked better on the 6P. In terms of software, they kind of do it again. I really like Oxygen. It's probably my favorite take on Android. They do the right thing. They don't make things worse or do things that have already been done. They just add things and make them better. For example, the actual dark mode on the OnePlus X is amazing. The entire settings menu is actual true blacks, which means it saves on your battery too. And the battery wasn't bad to begin with. I had no problem with just a little bit of care with my screen on time, stretching the device to 2 full days without a charge. If I had been even more conservative, it easily could have made it to 3. Oh man, I gotta tell you, the OnePlus X is a crazy good value. At $250, you're gonna be really hard-pressed to find a better device than this for your money. Even if it's just for a burner phone, or the next time your aunt calls and needs a phone, or someone can't make a decision and you're that tech guy who needs to help them out, this thing costs $250. They hate it, no big deal, get a different one. Yes, it's got its share of issues and compromises. If you live in a really bad LTE coverage area for AT&T or T-Mobile, then it's probably gonna be a deal breaker for you that the 2 bands aren't supported. But for just about everyone else, this is an incredibly easy buy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this something you would actually buy? Also, I feel like I keep asking the same questions of you at the end of videos, so you guys ask me a question in the comments. What's the #1 thing you want to know about the OnePlus X? And I'll make sure to keep an eye on the comments so that I can answer them for you. Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you in the next video.